What's up guys, welcome back to a new video. Today we are going to be installing some Corksport Injector seals in the Mazdaspeed 3 and it should be a good day. Sun's shining and we're chilling, so let's get right to it. Now these are the Corksport Injector seals for the Speed 3. You see, nice and shiny. So you might be asking yourself, well, why would I want to install Corksport Injector seals in my car? What's it going to do? Well, it could help you. And it could also just be kind of like a safety thing, one of those things like just in case and just to future-proof the car if you're going for high horsepower. So right now I'm just bolt-ons and my injector seals, I believe they're leaking because at wide open throttle we are getting some knock, kind of like 2 to 3. At wide open throttle as well, I took some logs, didn't look right, kind of compared on the V-dyno. Just to see like power wise, like is it same as what it was earlier in the year, and I believe that we're losing some. So installing these injector seals will help restore some power, because the reason that you could be losing power is if your injector seals are leaking, all that power being made, it's getting blow by and it's not being converted into actual power to the wheels. So that's why we are going to be installing these Corksport injector seals. Also, look at these. First off, these cost $200. That's probably the same amount of material as it takes to make like a penny or two. So cornered market. Hey, somebody else get in this market because it can't take that much to make these. Okay, first things first is if you have a stock air intake box, you're gonna want to remove that. Also, if you have a top mount intercooler, you're gonna want to remove that as well. And I believe that's all. We're going to be taking off the throttle body. Because we have a front mount intercooler, we're going to be taking the hose off, and just this cold pipe, we're just going to take that entire thing off. This pipe up top we're going to remove just to swing it out of the way. We might take this out just to clear up some space in between the throttle body and kind of this, what do you call this, this shroud or something, the bumper. Corksport also provides you with this very detailed pamphlet, so good job Corksport. You guys make this pretty much millennial proof and idiot proof, so thank you. We're going to try to keep this pipe in place just because I don't want to have to slide under there just because this car's lowered and it's just a pain in the ass to get to that bolt down there. But we're going to try to leave it in. We might have to take it out, so just remember that. You're going to want to take off this little controller box. These are all 8mm. There are 4 bolts holding it down. Also, there's a clip here that goes onto it. If you guys have any recommendations that you want to see for a video, please let me know because I'm not running out of ideas, but I want to be posting content that you guys want to see. So if you have any video ideas or things that you want to see, please be sure to drop them in the comment section down below, and I will do every single video you guys recommend as long as it's like, you know, PG-13. So Nick, hold your dirty mind to yourself. Be smart and put all your things that you take off into a little box so you don't lose them. Now this controller box is actually just held in place by a clip here. Just want to pop that off. And then there's just a couple hoses holding it in that they connect to it. So you just want to pop those off as well. To the coil pack harness, there's going to be a connector down here that you're going to want to take off just to make some room. I had to take the camera off the stand for a second to show you. You're going to want to take your map sensor off. It's right in there. Should be pretty easy to get at because it also has like a little extension wire that has a plug. So it's a lot easier than the OEM one. Now there's 2 hoses you're going to want to remove on the intake manifold. This one here with the red collar and right below it with the blue collar down there. You're going to want to remove both of those. Now on the red hose, you're going to want to gently push down with a flat head on the red part, and then you can pull up on the hose. So you push down on the red, up with the hose. And this blue one, it has a little tab that you just pop very gently, and it'll come up like that. And you can swing those out of the way. Also, there's this hose that goes to your bypass or blow-off valve, whatever you have. Just pop that off. Next we move on to the throttle body. There's these two hoses that you're going to want to pop off. Now for future reference, Tom, the yellow goes to the inside. Swing both of those out of the way. And just to make some more room in there, I just took out this entire cold pipe. It'll give us a better view of what's going on. Now one of the hoses you took off, it's going to have some coolant in it. So just plug that up so it doesn't leak. Then you can just swing it out of the way wherever. Get it out of your way. So just swing it out of the way wherever. Make sure you're not dripping any coolant. So you're going to want to take the 4 bolts off the throttle body. Bolts of the throttle body, I believe, are 8 millimeters. Yeah, they're 8 mil. Alright, that's your throttle body. There's one connector you're going to want to take off. It has a red tab that you pop back, and then it just slides right out. Now you're going to want to you'll want to remove all the bolts holding the intake manifold on. Corksport gives you a nice picture of all the bolts. This one on the bottom might be a little tricky to get at, but they recommend just a 10 millimeter socket wrench with a 4-inch extension. Between cylinder 1 and 2 down here, you can see this little clip. It hangs on, connects to the intake manifold right there. Sorry, it's a little blurry, but you're just going to want to pop that off so you're not breaking any wires taking the intake manifold out. Let me show you one more thing, guys. There's going to be a hose on the bottom of the intake manifold right there, and it goes to, as you can see in the picture, it goes to this guy right here. You're going to want to take that off just with your needle nose pliers. Plug on top here, you're going to want to take off. So now there's a bolt holding the dipstick holder on, and those look like they're 8 mils. So it's just these short bolts that go to it. And after that, I believe she'll be free. Yay! Holy! Look at all that, guys. That's dirty. We're gonna have to clean that up. There's 5 bolts that are going to hold your fuel rail on. It's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We already took this one off because I thought that it went to the intake manifold, but yeah, you just need to pop those off. And they are 10 mils. So you're going to want to pop this off. There will be fuel that falls out of it. Just be aware. We're going to get a cloth. Alright. Now, the instructions say remove the fuel rail by pulling it off the injectors, starting at the driver's side, and working your way across. So what we're going to do, we're going to use this pry bar, kind of use 2 of them. And there's your fuel rail. Now I'll try to zoom in, but there's going to be a T40 connector for each injector. You're going to want to take those off. Make sure you do not strip these. One more, come on, baby. Thank goodness. Guys, I was so afraid of stripping those. If I had to guess what was leaking, I would have assumed cylinder 4, because you can see there's a little bit down there. No leakage in any of the other cylinders, just cylinder 4. I mean, these seals, they look all right. This one is cylinder 4. But we're just gonna replace them anyway. But I think this one is leaking a little bit. I want to take a quick close-up at these injector seals. This one I just cleaned. You can see this one's all dirty. All these ones are a little dirty, so they could definitely use a good cleaning. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to clean all these injectors and then put the seals on. But yeah, these OEM seals, they're definitely not the best. But yeah, hopefully this will solve it. But I'm going to give those a good cleaning, and then I will come back and update you guys before we're ready to put them all in and wrap it all up and put everything back together. So right now, I just cleaned this one up. Looks pretty good, pretty clean, ready to go back in. You want to make sure you have a clean area to work with. Yeah, this is pretty dirty. So you get a little Scotch-Brite pad. You can take off this gasket. You can just see this gasket is just corroded. Likely why we were getting a little bit of blow by. I'm gonna put these gaskets in this Corksport box, just so I don't lose them. But you're just gonna want to gently clean. This little Scotch-Brite pad doesn't take much. You don't want to scratch the injector or scuff it up, but you just want to give it a good cleaning. So all of our injectors are cleaned. They have that Corksport seal on them, so they are ready to go in. What you do want to do is you want to take a vacuum and just clean out everything, so no debris is in the cylinder port or any of that. So we're going to take the shop vac and just clean everything up. So with the injectors already in, you're going to want to take this guy, and this groove, you see how it kind of comes up? This is going to be on the outside towards you. And you just want to pull back on the injector, make sure that it's seated, and then push it back in very, very carefully. And then one more, this guy. Pull it out. That little ridge points out towards you, and then carefully seat the injector back in. So we're getting the fuel rail on, and if you can't get the fuel rail back on easily, then what I recommend doing is make sure that it's even, aligned, and just loosely thread in each bolt, and then just evenly, slowly screw the bolts in a little at a time. And that's just a tip to get the fuel rail on and to get it tight. So I'm going to do this, and I will tune in after. Alright, now that the fuel rail is back on, you want to plug in this sensor back in, and then you have a few more plugs that you're going to want to make sure they get plugged in before putting the intake manifold on. Also, you're going to want to make sure that you put this hose back on. This goes to the back of the intake manifold. So what we're going to do is we're going to put the intake manifold in here, put that hose on, and then start seating it. Make sure we get all our connections on, and then we'll go from there. Hopefully that's a good angle for you guys. But we are going to slide this guy in. Connect your map sensor now, because otherwise it's going to get tricky, because you're not going to have much room to fit your fingers in here. And then loosely put this hose on. Then you should be able to get some needle nose in there, and then you should be able to tighten it down. Make sure you get it at a good position, just so if you ever have to get it back off. You're not screwing yourself. Alright, that basically wraps up the video. We got everything buttoned up. It's basically just reverse of the install. But took it for a ride and it is noticeably different. That just about wraps it up for the video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Finished buttoning everything up. Took it for a spin around the block. Definitely noticed a difference. I mean, this thing, it feels like it just gained like 30 horsepower. But I think I do have a small boost leak, so I'm going to do a boost leak test and get that fixed. But besides that, I mean, she's running perfect, knock on wood. Did some wide open throttle pulls. Knock was a solid 0. That basically wraps up the video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for more, and stay tuned for the meth kit coming soon. But she lives on. So I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.